Hey guys, it's Tommeh, and welcome back to another Toontown discussion video. Now, as you can see by the title, in this video, I'm going to be discussing why I personally think it's a good idea to make a second account or just have multiple accounts on TTR or, I don't know, Fellowship or whatever server you play on. And there's a lot of reasons why I think this, so I'm going to be going through a lot of the pros and also some of the, I don't know, perceived cons of why some people might not want to do this, just to kind of give like a wholesome view of the argument. So basically, I recently thought of this idea, and it kind of, I've really only been thinking about this for a few days now because I was recording another video, it's actually, which I'll probably post in a few days, but it's part 10 of my Let's Play, and in that video I was using both this tune that I'm currently on and my other tune, like my Let's Play tune, the Blue Pig, and I was completing a building using both tunes, or essentially doing what's called dual boxing, and I don't know, I just remarked on how efficient it was and how I really enjoyed doing it and how much it helped, and I just figured I might as well make a discussion video on it because I've never really thought about exactly how much like it's helped me throughout Toontown. So without further ado, let me start out by saying why I think it's a good idea. So the first reason why I think so is because, first of all, like, the simple fact is that you can. Like, obviously Toontown Rewritten and other private servers, due to like legal issues and copyright stuff, they can't make money off of Toontown, and they can't make money off of Toontown's name or their game. So basically, they obviously have to offer like free membership to everyone and free access to the whole game if they're going to run it. And because of that, like, it's so much more viable to make a second account in Toontown Rewritten or other servers because, as opposed to Toontown Online, like, when it was still up, obviously, because in these servers, like, in Toontown Online, you would have to pay $20 a month to only have 2 accounts open simultaneously, as opposed to, obviously, the $10 a month that you'd have to pay if you just had 1 account, whereas in TTR, you could open 10 accounts and still not have to pay a dime. So, I just think, like, why would you not have multiple accounts when you're certainly able to and it's not going to cost anything? Just because, like, if you, in my opinion, simply if you have the ability to, I don't see why you wouldn't. And that's not going to make too much sense right now, but let me just go into my other points that I have. So the first big point that I really have, other than that one, is that if you have multiple accounts, obviously you can get through the game, like, at a significantly faster pace than you normally would. Like, for example, and you guys will see my video in a few days, part 10 of my Let's Play, in that video, I basically just go on 2 tunes, and I was using 2 computers, but you don't even need to do that. Like, if you have Windows, or I'm sure you could probably even do it on Mac, like, you can essentially just open up 2 Toontown windows, enter 2 different account names, and play at the same time, and this helps with gag training, this helps with completing toon tasks, and it essentially just helps you get through the game at a significantly faster pace than you normally would be able to if you just had 1 tune. And because if you just had 1 tune, like, basically your outlet for getting help with these things would either be training your gags enough so that you could basically solo the entire game, or finding help, like, with friends and whatnot. But honestly, I don't see it as extreme. Like, this is gonna sound pretty bad because Toontown is a game about, like, sharing and caring and working together, but honestly, I don't think friends are usually the most reliable source of help if you're trying to, like, get through the game. Because I personally remember, like, it took me forever in Toontown Online to get through all of my toon tasks just get through the game in general, because I had to ask for help so many times, and there were just literally, like, so many instances in which I needed to call for help, and I didn't really know. Like, back then, invasions weren't as frequent as they are now, but basically, I had to, like, ask friends for help with every single thing, and the game took forever. Like, I literally must have taken a year and a half to 2 years to max 1 tune. Whereas in using this, I can max a tune in less than a month without even playing for like a significant amount of time every day. So basically, like, if you have a second account, or if you have like a high tune on another account that you can just freely use, you can basically just help yourself out throughout the entire game. And even in saying that, you don't even need to have like a max tune, because like in my situation, I could, or actually no, let me talk about a friend situation. In fact, my friend Anthony, also known as Dr. Popcorn McBurger, he created 2 tunes at the exact same time. He named them Dr. Popcorn McBurger 1 and Dr. Popcorn McBurger 2, and he literally just raised them side by side. There was no difference with them throughout the entire game except for the fact that one was trapless and one was dropless. And basically with this, oh, there's a sad tune, hello. Basically with this, he was able to complete the game at a very fast rate, and when he did finish the game, he had 2 max tunes instead of 1. So that's kind of like another thing that is really helpful. You can, if you did this, like while you do have to kind of coordinate everything, you basically get 2 tunes for the price of 1. Because now he has, like, at least now he has like 2 130 something laughers, and the game crashed. Awesome. Like now he has 2 130 something laughers and he basically put in the same amount of effort that he would for just 1. And it's just like helped out, it's helped him get through the game much faster. Like he has 2 different like max tunes at his disposal that he can do whatever he wants with, and it's just been incredibly efficient in terms of really just accomplishing like whatever he would have wanted to do. So that's another thing. Like if you ever want to go for that option, you could basically max like multiple tunes for the price of 1, essentially. I mean, there's really no other way to put it. And not to mention, let me get into another thing. So when it comes to gag training, there are a lot, like the reason why I think a lot of people just don't have good gags out there is simply because they don't really have access, or they don't know how to train properly. And despite the fact that I've posted like a training guide on my channel a while back, like you can go through my videos and find it, it was quite a while ago. But despite that, like a lot of people also, like they continue to rely on their friends to basically do what they need. And if like multiple people are trying to train, it's kind of hard to coordinate like what everybody wants, and also basically milk it so that everyone can get the most experience that they need out of a building or out of whatever. So, like when it comes to training, having 2 tunes in a building is extremely efficient. And now that I remember, I actually showed this off in my gag training video. But basically, like, if you have 2 tunes in a building that you are controlling, you can choose every single gag choice, you can make every decision, you can do whatever you want, and this is something that you probably couldn't do like if you just had a friend on Skype, or at least couldn't do as quickly or as efficiently, because honestly, if you're trying to train tune-up and you're just like spamming getting hit by the very last cog in the building and like tuning each other up, like if you have a friend who's training tune-up, maybe they'll be up for that, but honestly, like it gets a bit tedious after a while, and especially in a game like Toontown where you just have to grind incessantly, like basically being able to do that on your own is just so much easier. And also, like you won't have to bug your friends or like talk over a Skype call about like what everyone needs to do at every single moment, because like that obviously takes a bit of coordination and it just makes it a lot more annoying in my opinion. So you could really save all that hassle if you're just in control of both tunes. So in terms of all the pros, I think I've pretty much like covered all that. Like what I wrote down was get through the game faster, you get immediate help no matter what, because you can just log onto your own tunes and do whatever you need to. You can train gags significantly quicker and more efficiently, and you basically can have 2 max tunes for the price of 1. So that's basically all I have for the pros, and you can interpret whatever else you want out of that. So let me get into some, like just to kind of wrap this up, let me get into some of the cons that some people might perceive, and some things that if there were to be people who disagree with me in the comments, this is what I would assume they would say. So the first one would be, obviously, as I said earlier, the game is about like teamwork and helping others, and that would kind of defeat the purpose. Like doing something like this would kind of defeat the purpose in terms of this game, just because you wouldn't exactly be doing that. You'd basically just be helping yourself and making your own teamwork. Which would obviously, like, to some of the more wholesome players, would kind of go against the values of the game, which I completely understand. And honestly, if you're a person who plays Toontown like for, I don't know, like just for your friends or whatnot, or just for the camaraderie, or basically the way that I used to play Toontown, then I would completely understand that. And if you would feel that it would kind of degrade like the message behind the game or the purpose of like working together within the game, then I would understand why that wouldn't be as viable, or why it wouldn't be as fun to do that. Like, the reason why I'm just really preaching this is because it'll help you get through the game more efficiently. So if you're kind of one of the junkies who really likes to go through all the cog bosses or do all the higher up stuff, then you would like be able to do that a lot more easily, and also have more tunes to do that with, because you could raise one up a lot quicker. Now, another thing that might, or another thing that actually kind of screwed me over for a bit, or I guess not really screwed over, but I guess I'd rather say, I don't know, it kind of got a little bit old for me, just because I became pretty reliant on just soloing the game, or I mean, not necessarily soloing the game, but I became pretty reliant on dual boxing for a while, and there became a time where I basically like didn't really want to play unless I was dual boxing. So I think maybe like I think it's nice to use it in some situations, or if you want to do like what my friend Anthony did, like make it your whole existence and revolve your game around it, I think that would be a viable option. But I mean, I will say, and I will be honest, I swear to God, if this game crashes, please do not crash. Okay. No, but what I was saying is, like, if you want to be like my friend Anthony and you basically revolve your whole game around it, like, that's your choice, but I'll tell you personally that I kind of got a little bit bored of it after a while, and it made it so that just playing on one tune wasn't as fun as it used to be. And I don't really, like, I didn't see that coming, I didn't expect that to happen, but that's just kind of something that I personally experienced, so that might be one reason not to. And the only other reason I can think of is that, and this is just kind of a technicality sort of thing, it would make, like, it does make cog bosses and, like, doing that kind of stuff really difficult if you're trying to do it with two tunes. Because, I mean, like, if you can, like, there's honestly just no way you can complete, like, the pie round or the crane round or the evidence round or just any of those, like, with just one tune, because you're constantly having to dodge things and like move between obstacles, and it just makes the game really difficult if you try to do that. So first of all, if you do that, you're kind of like you're not being very courteous to your fellow players, because you're kind of screwing them over. First of all, because there's one less tune to help out, and also because, like, if you're constantly trying to protect your own tunes, you're not exactly helping the team out. You kind of become a liability, if you ask me. So that's one reason, but the other reason is just because it's just plain difficult, and it's not really, like, some might find it fun to have an added challenge of trying to get two tunes through, like, the end cog rounds, and honestly, the only round in which I would see it as even possible would be the pie round of the VP. Just because the crane round, like, you have to, unless you have a really good stomping team, you gotta constantly be dodging goons. With the evidence round, like, good luck dodging that. Like, unless you just sit in the corner the whole time, there's really not much, there's not much of a window for you to succeed regarding that. And like the CEO, like, if you can dodge when he goes 4, like, if you can dodge that, then great. But basically the main point I'm trying to get at is that it's not, I personally don't find it fun, and I think it's just way too tedious and difficult, and also kind of like detrimental to your team to really be viable or fun. But yeah, basically those are all the reasons that I have for why some people might not want to do it. Despite those, I honestly still think it's a great idea to have a second account, just because, like I said, go and watch my video. Ooh, someone went sad. Go and watch my video regarding the, it's my gag training guide video. It's somewhere back on, like, the depths of my page. But if you watch that, that's an example of dual boxing. I actually have both, screens, or I have both tunes up on the screen. You can see exactly what I do in terms of training gags. Because honestly, like, it just makes things so much more efficient, and it makes the game so much easier. But yeah, that's basically all I got. So if you want to try this, like, it's not hard to make a second account. You can literally just go to the website, create your account, make a tune, and go for it. Like, you don't have to pay anything. You can just do it, and dual boxing isn't hard either. I could even make a tutorial if you guys want that, even though it literally just involves, like, moving your tabs to where you want them. At least on Windows. I haven't tried on Mac yet. But yeah, basically that's all I got for this video. So I'm gonna end it off here. Just want to say thanks for watching. If you like this video, leave a like, and if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and do that to see more videos, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.